We always think about university networks facing threats from the outside. But what if the biggest risk is already inside? Today, we're diving into a really surprising challenge, one that's hiding in plain sight all over campus. And this quote, man, it just hits the nail on the head. It's not just about hackers anymore. The whole game has changed. We're past the point of just building bigger firewalls. The real challenge now? It's the stuff that's already running inside your network. Okay, let's talk about the shadow in the network. What exactly is this shadow we're talking about? Before we can figure out how to fight it, we've got to know what it is, right? So here it is, shadow AI. And what's so wild about this is that it's usually not malicious. We're talking about ambitious students or faculty members who are just trying to get their work done faster. They're using these incredible new AI tools, but the problem is the IT department has no idea they're even on the network, and that creates these massive blind spots. Just think about it for a second. What if one of these unvetted AI tools accidentally leaks sensitive student data or some super valuable university research? That's the risk we're talking about. All right, so this brings us to the Modern Campus Challenge. It really makes you wonder, why are university networks, specifically, such a perfect breeding ground for something like shadow AI? Yeah, why are today's campus networks so incredibly complex and just difficult to manage? What makes them so different from, say, a regular corporate office? Well, it turns out it's a real perfect storm of complexity. Just look at this list. First, you've got this dense bring-your-own-device environment. Literally thousands of students and faculty bring their own laptops, phones, you name it. Then you have these high-demand AI research projects that are just eating up bandwidth. On top of that, everything's a cloud service now, SaaS platforms for everything. And of course, you have to segment all this traffic, keep the guest network separate from the academic one. And the real kicker? So much of this traffic is encrypted now, which is great for privacy, don't get me wrong, but for IT teams, it's like trying to see through thick fog. And the result of all that chaos, well, it's not just a headache for the IT folks. We're talking about a serious increase in risk. Huge compliance pressure. You've got to meet those strict FERPA rules for student data or HIPAA for any health info. It basically forces IT teams to be constantly playing defense, just reacting to problems instead of actually getting ahead of them. Okay, so the problem is pretty clear, right? It's a mess. So how do we fix it? Well, the answer isn't some single magic product you can just buy off the shelf. It's a totally new way of thinking. A 3-layer solution where everything works together. Yeah, it's an open approach to getting that visibility back. You've got 3 steps. The foundation, which is the hardware. The operating system, which is open source. And then the intelligence, the analytics. You can kind of think of it like building a smart home, right? You need the solid physical wiring. That's the foundation. You need a common OS like Alexa or Google Home so all your devices can talk to each other. And then you need that app on your phone, the intelligence, that lets you see and control everything. So let's break that down. Layer 1, the foundation. This is where Celestica comes in with their open networking hardware. We're talking about the powerful physical backbone. This is the heavy-duty stuff, the switches, the routers that create the actual superhighways for all that campus data. It's built to be tough and super high performance. Okay, sitting right on top of that hardware is Layer 2, the OS. In this case, it's SONiC, which is an open-source operating system for the network. The best way to think about it is like a common language. It lets all the different pieces of hardware talk to each other perfectly, which is absolutely crucial. It means universities don't get stuck in that classic vendor lock-in, where you're forced to buy everything from one expensive company. And that brings us to the top, Layer 3, the intelligence. This is where Aviz Networks shines. They provide the analytics and the visibility to see and control everything. Because Aviz sits on top of that open SONiC OS, it can see what's happening all the way down at the hardware level. This is the layer that finally cuts through that fog we talked about. It can spot that hidden shadow AI traffic and give IT teams the power to fix problems in, minutes instead of days. It's a game changer. All right, so that's the solution. So what's the payoff? When you bring together this powerful hardware, this open OS, and this smart analytics layer, what does the university actually get out of it? Let's talk about the power of visibility. Well, it unlocks a ton. First, you get full network visibility, and you don't need all those clunky, expensive proprietary boxes anymore. Incident response is way faster because you can actually find the root cause of a problem. You can finally get a handle on the risk from shadow AI because, well, you can see it. And the whole thing is built on this scalable, vendor-neutral architecture. It gives you the confidence you need to meet all those tricky compliance requirements.
And really, what this all boils down to is a massive shift in philosophy. The goal here is to move away from a network that's locked down and opaque and move toward one that is open, observable, and adaptable. That's the core idea.
Which brings us to our final thought. The future is open, because this isn't really just about a specific set of products. This is about a whole new direction for how we think about managing networks. I mean, look at this fundamental shift. The old way was locked down and proprietary. The new way is open and vendor neutral. The old way was opaque and hard to see inside. The new way is observable and transparent. We're moving from something rigid and slow to change to something that's adaptable and ready for the future. It's a night and day difference. And that really leaves us with one big question to think about. As our digital world gets more and more complex, and as AI continues to just explode, is this kind of openness the only real path to maintaining control? It makes you wonder, doesn't it?